Hello again, and welcome back. So, my first video was pretty well received, so I decided to make another one. Today, I don't know if we're gonna make a gnome, because we already did that. First, let's get our glove on. Roll up these sleeves a bit. And we're going to be making, I think, a small mushroom today. It's a pretty simple design. First thing we're going to do, let's get out our Fisker's knife. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, you need to find which end of the base is wider, and I apologize for the web camera. So, it looks like we have a pretty straight piece of wood. So what we're going to do is just take this top and we're going to round it out just like we would with a gnome. So, yep, we're just gonna get those wood chips out of the way. So, we're just gonna round this out, and then we're gonna go from there. So, let's just do that. Sorry if the wood or knife snaps a little bit. I'm going to try to make this video a little bit quieter. I don't have a water glass on the table this time, so you shouldn't hear as many rattles. I'm going to try and not hit the table or the mic. I will just see how I do for this second video. So, alright, we have this top pretty much rounded out now. So, there, that's a pretty good view. So, what we're going to do, we need to establish where the little cup of the mushroom is. I think we're going to make a rather skinny mushroom, so we'll just make a notch right there. Cut in, like that. And we're going to make notches. There we go. There's a notch. We're going to make notches all around. So just press it and slice at an angle. There we go. And we'll do that to the next one. Slice, cut in. I'm going to try this time to keep my little block of wood underneath the camera. I'm not used to filming, so there were a few times where it looked like this and you couldn't see anything. So I'm going to try to not do that again. So, there we go. Now we have all 4 of our notches. It kind of reminds me of a train whistle. Don't know why. Yeah. Anyway. Alright. So, we're going to make a notch line. So we're just going to press down in, cut at an angle. There we go. Alright, so we got that. Let's do the next one. So, slice down and cut at an angle. There we go. That sounded good, I feel like. I hope this is making some pretty decent sounds for you. Slice down and then cut at an angle. And now we have, oh, I missed one. Okay. slice down, and cut an angle again. I think the mic was jostled a little bit there, but that's okay. So we're gonna make this where the little top of the mushroom is a little bit longer, I think, than the stem. So what we're gonna do now is work to round this out and get a good. I'm trying to explain it. I can't put it into words, but we'll scoop this out so this part, the top, is skinnier than the bottom. And it'll look like a nice rounded out mushroom, if you know what I'm talking about. So let's do this. I'll try and get closer to the mic. See if that makes it pretty good. Here. I like the sound of the wood chips falling and hitting the mat. I feel like that sounds good. So we'll just cut in like this. This is a pretty simple design. I don't know if this video will be as long as the last one, just because, I mean, it's a mushroom. It's not a little, not making a face or anything. Just a mushroom, a simple mushroom. Have a little place for our gnome to sit. Well, that's not. He might hang out next to the mushroom. Maybe read a book. Make some shoes. I don't know. We'll see. We could turn this into a little scene. Take a mushroom and make a little chair for the gnome, maybe. Alright. Now I'm going to cut the edge here so it's a little bit more rounded and not a cylinder. So, yeah, I like to take small things like gnomes and mushrooms and put them together in a little scene. Make a tiny mailbox, maybe a little house for the gnome. I might make a few videos with that. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I like making, you know, small doll houses. I know, like, the big ones, they're really cool. But I really like making small ones, you know, just on my own. I have a few hinges that I use to make the little ones, and the hinges about that big. I make them small little doll houses. And little gnomes will go in the doll houses. Then I make them couches and tables, lamps. And I really enjoy doing that. You know, I find it pretty relaxing, you know, you design the house and everything. Figure out what you're gonna put in it. Sometimes I'll show this in a video. I'll make a video of this soon, I think, but I have a little house that's a Christmas house that I made because when I was younger, I really enjoyed playing with doll houses and having like a little playing like Santa. You know, I didn't have a Santa doll, but I would take a figurine of Doc from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and he had a beard and glasses, so I thought he looked a lot like Santa. So I would pretend that he would go down the chimney, even though there was no fireplace. So I really enjoyed doing that. So I decided to make this little Christmas house with a chimney and a fireplace. The little Santa that's about as big as this block. I made it out of one of these blocks. But that little Santa can go down the chimney. And then I decided, why stop there with the house and the Santa? So I made him a sleigh, a little reindeer. And I made some furniture, a little table. And I glued on a little thing of milk and cookies. And I made a little Christmas tree and a couch. And I'm working on making furniture and things for all the different rooms and other little dolls. Alright, so now we have a good, let's show it on the glove. So now we have a good scoop out of this mushroom. We've rounded out the top. So now what we're going to do is work on the base. So we're just going to do the same thing that we did. We'll cut there and we'll scoop out with this knife. I'm just going to use this knife, I think, for now. Sometimes just one tool does the job. And that's all you need. It's just one tool. For several things. Can't tell you how many times I've used a block of wood just to push something, a piece of wood back into place when I've glued it. Because there have been several times that I've gotten super glue on my hands. It hasn't come off for a few days. It eventually does. I don't use any fancy glue. It's pretty cheap. No Gorilla Glue or anything, but still, it does the job and it sticks to my fingers sometimes. There have been a few times where my fingers have been like this, and I couldn't, it took a little bit for me to pull them apart. But it didn't affect the skin or anything. I feel like that sounds pretty good. Well, let's get back to the mushroom. So, yeah, we're going to be scooping this out. I suppose this is more of a ramble ASMR video. Just, me talking about projects that I've had and things like that. But, yeah, I think, sometimes that's where you get the most tingles. It's where you're watching this video and it's just a little bit of a dull, nothing very stimulating about it, which is the point of ASMR, really. It bores you, and then you go to sleep, because your brain, when it starts to do something it's not interested in, like you're sitting in class and your teacher is talking about something that you're not interested in, and that's gonna put you to sleep because it's not stimulating your brain at all. So yeah, we got this. I think this is going pretty well. Look at that. We've got a good little bit of a mushroom going. It's a little square right now, but we'll round it out. So just make sure to keep on cutting off those shavings so we can see what we're doing. I think this is going well. But yeah, I'd like to do more videos like this. Maybe I'll do a video where I show you around all the little things that I've made. I've made a lot. I've done woodworking, wood carving, just wood carving really, since I was about, I want to say 12 or 13, and I just really took off with it from there. I just started with sticks, and I had, a little Swiss Army knife. I just started shaving sticks, carving names in the sticks, maybe a picture or two, and then I was given my first knife set. It was actually part of these knives are part of that original knife set, but a few of them broke, and so I had to order a new set. So, kind of a hybrid of that original set and the set that I ordered. But yeah, so I just kind of started. I think one of the comments from the previous video asked me if I'm self-taught, and yeah, pretty much. I have a few books that I've skimmed, but I don't really read instructions very well, or any video or instructions that takes more than 15 minutes for me to listen to. I don't really absorb. Typically, if I do a hobby, I'm gonna do that hobby until I'm just really good at it, and mean by that really is I'm gonna take on the hobby that I'm good at to begin with, because I'm impatient and I really just like doing it, you know. I don't like learning the beginner steps, which is why I think that's why woodworking really caught my eye. You just take a block of wood and you shave off bits, and then you end up with a nice little mushroom or a gnome. You know, and there are instructions to make those, but you can make your own instructions pretty easily. You just have to kind of see how you can carve it. Yeah, alright, so this mushroom is looking pretty good now. I don't like how wide the base is or how square it is. So we're gonna fix that. Get those wood shavings out of the way. So we're just gonna... So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take it in the hand like this, and we're just gonna slice. Slice that right off. There. Make it a little bit more round. A little bit more like a mushroom that you find in nature. There. Alright. And we'll just carve it and make that base a little bit skinnier. This is looking a whole lot better. And it's not nearly as square. So yeah. Let's keep going. Alright, now I don't like how this is, I like cutting in an angle like that, you see? So, you see how it's, I know this is a terrible camera, but it's kind of got a little hat. It's just, like, you can see exactly where I've cut down, and I don't like that. I want to cut it at an angle. So we can put some little, I think they're called gills in the mushroom. This is a poisonous mushroom. You can't eat it. It's just pretty to look at. So, yeah. Let's just slice in like that. Gently, I'm going to try not to make too bad a noise. I know it's popping on the wood, I'm sorry. There. So yeah, I'll just cut in like that. And I will make a video about painting this mushroom, I think, along with the gnome. Like, I could just make a video where I go in and paint all the things I've been meaning to paint. I have one thing I've put off painting, just because I know it's going to take a long time, because I'm a perfectionist who's also impatient, so. But it'll be a tiny Nutella jar. I like carving tiny things too, especially as accurately as I can get them. So I have a Nutella jar about that big that hasn't been painted yet. It's just a piece of wood that kind of resembles the shape of a Nutella jar. Because a Nutella jar, you can't really tell it's a Nutella jar until you see the bright red words, Nutella, and the picture of a delicious looking piece of toast. Anyway, so yeah, I'll make a video where maybe I paint that. Alright, so I'm rounding this out now, and I want to cut a little bit more into this so there's not, let me see, I'm sorry, I think there were a few points where I moved the piece of wood out of the camera so it's closer to me, out of the view of the camera, but yeah, so, get this little mushroom right here, cut that in, okay, and make this mushroom a little bit skinnier at the top. So yeah, I've been trying to do ASMR today. I tried to do a video today, but a ton of people wanted their lawns cut today. everybody had their long cut, or leaves blown or something, weed eater, I don't know, just something that made noise, lots and lots of noise. So I could not film today, and so I am currently filming at 11 at night, so that it's somewhat quiet. Alright, this mushroom is looking good. Cut in a little bit more, but I think this is a decent looking mushroom. Alright. Oh, I'm sorry, I think I got out of the frame. That's it, the frame of the camera. So, slice it. Alright, so that, hold on, I want to cut this a little bit more, so it's a little bit more skinny of a mushroom. Alright, I like how this mushroom is looking. I'm just gonna cut in a little bit more. I'm trying to get it where it looks skinny and it's got a nice dip to it on the stem, but not so skinny that the stem pops off from the little top altogether, and then we don't have a mushroom. We have a little bell looking thing and a little volcano. Alright, there we go. Okay, I like how this mushroom looks now. So, there it is. Looks like a pretty good mushroom. Now we want to add these gills, so we're going to get out our little V scoop knife. You remember this one? Also, I figured out what the scoop knife is called. It's called a gouge. I didn't know that. So, I'm going to take this and I'm going to try to be as gentle as possible so I don't hit the table and then make a loud noise with the mic. So, let's see. But we're going to just gently wiggle that. There we go. So, here we go. So I made this there's a little, I know that it's a terrible little camera, but I made this little nick. So I'm just going to scoop that out, and there you go. Now we got a pretty decent looking mushroom with some little gills on it. You can see right there, I think, the gills. I'm working on getting a new camera, but I've been Googling cameras for ASMR, and then I was referred to cameras for vlogging, so I did that. And every single camera that has decent reviews, that says it won't quit on me or overheat, and has a little jack for an external microphone, they all cost either $500 or much more than that. It's all $500 or more. So, I'll be looking into it, but I think I might have to wait on a camera until I'm sure that I'm going to be doing this for a while before I spend $500 on a camera. So, yeah. Anyway, there's our mushroom, and we are done. So, let's take off our glove. We're going to get a block of wood, and we'll test this mushroom and how it sounds with the mic. So let's see here. I have a nice, this is a much bigger block of wood than I usually have, but I have it in here, and it's got these nice, it's got some, ooh, some little pieces of wood, some little chips, flyaways. They sound nice when you rub them. So yeah, let's take our mushroom. Let's try a little bit of tapping. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. I don't know. You be the judges. Did the mushroom pass the sound test? I don't know. Now, we have our little mushroom, and we have our gnome somewhere. I can't remember where he went. Hold on. That's not our gnome. Well. Sorry, I have a whole box of chunks of wood of gnomes that I started. I never finished the gnomes that I did finish, and I forgot about them. So, I can't find our gnome right now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe it was relaxing, and maybe you got tingles. I don't know. But if you did enjoy this video, like it if you want to. Comment. I appreciate constructive criticism. And I hope you stay and follow the channel. Maybe watch another video if you like this one. I might make more. Alright. Goodbye.